Hello and welcome to Legendary Studios Canada. Today I have 10 popular conspiracy theories for you.
Number 1.
Number 1, fake moon landing. Now you've probably heard of this conspiracy. It's the conspiracy that in 1969 that NASA faked the moon landing, and that it was actually filmed in a TV studio. And the idea was to give the US a massive presence and an advantage over Russia during the Cold War. Now, obviously there are two sides to this story, and the people who support the theory claim that there was a hidden agenda behind the moon landing, and that and people point out, the supporters of this point out the fact that number one, the filming equipment back then was not so good. The ability to live stream it to an audience from a different country was hard enough, let alone actually being able to live stream everything from the moon. Another supporting thing for that theory is the science behind the Van Allen belts, a belt of radiation, multiple layers of radiation, that they would have had a very, very hard time getting through without dying or becoming very sick with radiation poisoning. Now, NASA, from my understanding, is still working on that problem today. Now, the people who argue against the fake landing state that the film technology and things like CGI and stuff like that were so expensive back then that it would have been more expensive to fake it than it would have been to actually spend the billions to actually go to the moon with the rocket technology and stuff like that. So I guess according to the official sources, the film technology was way more expensive than the rocket technology.
Number 2.
So this next one is probably one of the most famous at number 2, and that's the conspiracy of the murder of JFK. So the story of JFK, for those who are somehow not aware, the original story goes that basically JFK was being driven down the street and he was shot in the head and in the throat by Lee Harvey Oswald with a Carcano, which is an Italian infantry rifle. It's notorious for being really, really inaccurate and really terrible. Now, there have been multiple conspiracies over the death, the assassination of JFK. Now, one of the most common ones is actually called the grassy knoll theory. So a lot of people believe that there was a second gunman due to the inaccuracy of the Carcano and basically like the magic bullet theory. So the magic bullet theory is the official story that the bullet was able to ricochet going through several men, through the seats, through the car and everything, and make 90-degree turns. So that's why that's called the magic bullet theory. So this theory also basically states that people believe that there was a second shooter on the grassy knoll or near the grassy knoll that also fired at him from street level. Basically what this conspiracy says is that the government itself were the ones who took out Kennedy, possibly the CIA. Now, Kennedy was talking about, quote, smashing the CIA into 1,000 pieces. He wanted to defund the CIA. He thought that they were out of control, and he wanted to get rid of them. And so one of the reasons why people say that it was the CIA is because obviously the CIA was very unhappy with him, and a lot of the generals were as well, especially with the Cuban crisis going on. And they were very upset as to his response to the Cuban crisis. Another one of the theories surrounding this was that it could have been a front passenger or even the driver that turned around and shot him when there was part of the missing footage. Another one of the reasons why people think that he was assassinated is because he wanted to make the standard money in the United States as the silver dollar. He wanted to convert everything back to gold and silver and things like that, rather than the fiat currency that was being produced at the time, and even to this day.
Number 3.
Coming in at number 3, we have CERN, connected to Earth being sucked into a black hole. After CERN's discovery of the Higgs boson, also known as the God particle, there have been many strange things that have happened, such as the Mandela effect, starting right after CERN's experiment in 2012. The world got the idea is that people believe that the world possibly got sucked into an alternate dimension or into a black hole. And the crazy part is we didn't even notice. Well, that is, some of us didn't notice, or most of us didn't notice. But some people did, or at least they claimed they did.
Number 4.
Coming in at number 4, we have a Disney conspiracy. Who doesn't love a Disney conspiracy? Well, this one is about Walt Disney, the founder of Disney. There has been a long-lasting conspiracy theory that Walt Disney actually froze himself in a cryogenic lab, hoping that right before he died, that someday in the future he may be able to wake up. Now, one idea that supports this conspiracy theory is that Disney came out with Frozen, the movie, in order to take space up on the Google algorithm so that they could hide the truth from the masses.
Number 5.
At number 5 here we have the Hollow Earth theory. The Hollow Earth theory seems to have gained a lot of traction in 2014, where there was a scientific discovery finding out that there was a layer of water, liquid water, between the blue hot rock surface known as the ringdonite, the core beneath the Earth. Knowledge of these findings have sparked rapid amount of information and conspiracies about the Hollow Earth theory, and the theory states also that there may possibly be an alien civilization living underneath the Earth or inside it, and you know, that would explain all those underwater UFOs.
Number 6.
Coming in at number 6, we have an Nazi base in Antarctica. So, after the events of World War II, there were many rumors of a hidden base in Antarctica where the Nazis developed advanced technologies and researched UFOs and different various alien technology. Although the idea has been debated by Cambridge researchers Colin Summerhays in a 21-page essay. There was also declassified documents showing that there was a massive expedition that went on to Antarctica, and where they took tanks and planes and submarines, battleships, destroyers, everything. A massive, massive arsenal, anti-aircraft guns, all kinds of things. And it definitely looked like a full-scale invasion of Antarctica. And so now, not all of that has been declassified. However, the official statement is that was a meteorological survey done by the entire U.S. military.
Number 7.
Coming in at number 7, we have the conspiracy that Hitler fled to Argentina after World War II and did not commit suicide, as what the official story says. When World War II was coming to a close and the invasion of Berlin was right at the doorstep, or the Russians, were right at the doorsteps of Berlin, and you had the Americans on one side, the Russians on the other. It seemed certain that obviously, the situation was pretty dire for Germany. They knew they were going to lose, and it was only a matter of time. So it's no surprise that one would think that Hitler killed himself because he was distraught from losing the war. Now that's what the official story states, is that he put a pistol to his head and shot himself in the bunker with his mistress, Eva Braun. There is just one problem with that. So, the Russians, they were the ones that, I guess, found the body, and they said they found Hitler, but they didn't find Eva Braun. But they definitely found Hitler with a pistol wound in the head. And so they immediately decided that it would be a great idea to burn the body and bury it immediately after. Now, of course, decades and decades later, we found out that the skull that they actually have as evidence of Hitler turns out to be a woman in her 30s. So definitely not Hitler's skull. So whoever's body that they burnt that day most certainly was not Hitler. So then the question says, okay, well, why would they cover that up? How does that make sense? And where would he go? Well, this conspiracy says that he went to Argentina. And the conspiracy goes on to say that a bunch of high-ranking Nazis also fled on submarines to Argentina. Now, the FBI also came up with a list of different pictures of what Hitler could look like. Now, all of this was classified for decades, of course, and now it's all just coming out now that the FBI continued the search for Hitler after the confirmed death of Hitler. So, as it turns out, a group of Nazi hunters went to Argentina and they found a bunch of German villages decades later. German villages all over the place, all through Argentina and Peru and many other places throughout South America. There are wrecks of submarines like U-boats that were found off the coast, several Nazi memorabilia from high-ranking officers that were very close to Hitler, but no Hitler. So they never found Hitler there, but they did find some of his closest aides and some of his closest friends. So the question is, did he die or did he escape?
Number 8.
Coming in at number 8, we have the Titanic conspiracy. So there's a lot of Titanic conspiracies out there, but this one says that the Titanic never actually sunk. How might that even be possible, you might ask? Well, according to this conspiracy, the Titanic was swapped for the Olympic because the Titanic wasn't quite ready for its voyage, and the idea was that they didn't want to cancel all of those tickets. Plus, if the ship goes down or something was to happen to it, they get a payout on insurance. Therefore, what they decided was that Olympic would take its place because Olympic was very badly damaged several times, and because of those massive structural problems that the ship had, it would be easier to just sink Olympic and be done with it and say the Titanic sunk instead. Now, part of the evidence of this was that if you look at the pictures, people have pointed out in the pictures of Titanic that there was a window discrepancy, because although Titanic and Olympic looked identical, there was some differences. For example, the Titanic had some upgrades that the Olympic did not have. And they didn't have the exact same number of windows. And people have sat there and counted the many windows and have concluded that those pictures are pictures of Olympics design. The other strange thing is that the propellers were swapped out and stamped with Titanic's name. So Olympic had Titanic's propeller and Titanic had Olympic's propeller. Now the strange thing is that on the wreckage, Titanic's propellers were found and not Olympic's, indicating that there may be something to this conspiracy. Another part to this conspiracy states that J.P. Morgan wanted to get rid of all of his competitors, as all of his competitors seem to have bought a ticket on his ship. So what better way to get rid of all his competitors than to send out the Olympic, which was a rundown ship that had multiple problems and multiple repairs scheduled.
Number 9.
Coming in at number 9, Prince Charles is a vampire. The main reason why people believe this conspiracy is that Prince Charles, basically a portion of him, his family, and the royal family have some blood-related ties, pardon the pun, blood-related, to Vlad the Impaler, who was the original inspiration for the books and movies Dracula. Now, some of the family in Charles' bloodline was known to have a disease called porphyria, a disease that causes an iron deficiency, which is easily replaced by blood, of course, and a sensitivity to sunlight.
Number 10.
Number 10. We are all living in the Matrix, or computer simulation. There is a common theory that people and celebrities have developed over the years that we are all in a simulation. So one of the reasons why people believe this is encounters and video footage of people teleporting somewhere, flying through the air, and objects flying through the air, and animals like birds stopping in midair. There are even videos of planes freezing in midair, and some celebrities freezing on live television. And so this is known as glitches in the Matrix. Even Elon Musk has talked in length on multiple occasions about how we may possibly be in a simulation, and how the technology is moving so quickly that we that we may be in a simulation. This has been Jacob with LSC. Thank you for watching. Remember, if you like this video, please smash that like button. It helps with the algorithm. And if you want to watch more of these videos, if you don't want to miss a thing, make sure to hit that bell notification and that red subscribe button down below. We have a lot more content that is coming out very soon. We're trying to get on a much clearer schedule. However, during the Calgary Stampede, as we will be working there, so come down and see us. But so basically, we don't know what the schedule is going to be like. We may be on a crunch, but we will try our best during the next 2 weeks to try and pump out more content for you. And if you have any suggestions, comments, or anything of the sort, please comment down below. Let us know if you have any video ideas or anything like that, and let us know what you think of this video. This is Jacob with LSC. I'll see you in the next video.